Hi, Mike. Yeah, you were mentioning a question about using a second graphic logo for different pages. Absolutely, as well as positioning it different. And that's one of the reasons why we have the boop, doop, 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 what do you call it? The different style sheets for the primary and the secondary. Yeah, so anything in here can be repositioned, and it can also be you can also use different components for different bits and pieces. So I wasn't sure what your um, what you said you had a different logo for the secondary that would fit in, but you wanted to have know the question first. So yes, absolutely. In a nutshell, okay, it just takes a wee bit of work. And when I say wee bit, basically you go into your library folder and you go into your graphic logo folder, or your logo folder. Okay, so there's the graphic logo right there. Now let's say you want to have a different one for different types of pages. We can create as many copies of this page as you want here, right? And I'm just going to be really lazy and just call it graphic logo 2, like that. And you could have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or you can name it after your page if you wanted to do that, right? And that's if you just want to use an include, right? But then you can go into your, say, your about page. You scroll on down, and then in the header of the page, you're going to find your graphic logo right here. You see where it says library logo, graphic logo? Yeah, just pound in the number 2, and then that's it. So now you've got a different library page loading in here, and then you can put a different logo on your graphic logo page. And then, because the about page is a secondary layout using the Nevo slider small, you can go into your site styles secondary, and you can change the positioning of that graphic logo right here, right? And you can also change the positioning of the Nevo slider small. You can move it further down the page because there's the top and the right position right there. So you can manipulate it as well. And if you do that, the other bit of information I have for you is the header top. You may want to adjust that. You may want to make it taller, right? Right now it's 520. In this example, it's 520 pixels. I think in your site it's going to be different, but because I've got a priority template, not the strength. But anyways, that's it in a nutshell. But if you have some more, like if you actually had a graphic logo, and you want some help getting that in there, just fire it over to me. I'll help you pop it in there. Now, for the responsive question, yes, it's going to be responsive as long as you do the following. When you put your graphics in a page, right? I'm going to put a logo in here, and or just an image, I should say, right? I'm just going to drag an image into the page here, logo. Now, there it is right there. You see how I dragged it in and there's no height or width applied? Yeah, make sure that's the case. I'm going to do it in Design View as well, just to see. And you see when I did it in Design View, it actually adds a style of width and height, for me anyways. When I did it in Code View, it doesn't. So make sure if you do it in Design View that you get rid of any style equals width height, and you just end up with that there, right? What happens with responsive design is it wants to use the style sheet to automatically size the image so it scales up and down depending on the viewport of the device being used. If you set a specific width and height, it's going to stay that width and height regardless of what device is being used, and that's where things get really mucked up for mobile users. So allowing the image to be scaled by not adding a height and a width, right, which is exactly the opposite of everything we used to do years ago. Yeah, yes, time to move forward, right?